So question B1 from the 2012 Advanced Higher Applied Maths, the first of the straightforward maths questions. You'll probably find the marks come a bit faster in this section. And here for 5 marks you've got this binomial expansion. Okay, it doesn't say the word, but you've got a binomial. Write down and simplify the general term in the expansion of this. Hence, I'll otherwise obtain the coefficient of the term in it that involves x to the power 13. And of course, it wants you to write down the general term first, so you don't just simply expand it all and then pick out that term, so that you show a little understanding of the pattern involved. Well, any particular term would have the same form, which is there's a coefficient, there's a certain power of the first part, and there's a certain power of the second part. It's power 8. There's going to be 9 terms altogether. So that this first term would start with power 8 and work its way down to 0, and this second one would start at 0 and work its way up. So let that be the counter. R works its way up from 0 to 8. 9 terms. This would start at 8 and then have to drop by that amount. Well, that's virtually it. That's the general term. So the only thing I could do would be to tidy that up, because I can't have 2 different mentions of x here. So the general term would be 8r, or you could write 8cr if you wished. The only numerical part is 3 to the power r. And then for the power of x, it's just a case of adding the powers together for these multiplying terms. Do the work in here if you like. You've got 2 times, because it's a power of a power, 2 times 8 minus r, and then add on this power plus another r. That's a 16 minus 2r plus an r. That's a 16 minus r. Now that's 3 marks. 1 for stating that, and then 2 in here, presumably 1 for the numerical part and 1 for the power of x. Now for the second part. What's the coefficient of the term with x to the 13? Well, if it's x to the power 13, that means that that 16 minus r must make 13. That's a simple rearrangement. Take the r across, take the 13 across and subtract. That means r is 3, and that would be a mark. So what is this coefficient? It doesn't want the whole term, because obviously the x part is x to the 13. The coefficient would be 8, just putting the numbers in, 8, 3 times 3 to the power 3, which you could just type into your calculator. Or you could spell it out first, but unless you're willing to work it out, you're just going to type it into your calculator anyway. Remembering the simplest way to do that is 8 times 7 times 6, the first 3 terms, over 3 times 2 times 1, times 3 to the power 3. Some of that cancels out, because that'll knock out one of those, making that a 9. That can drop to a 3. But I've still got to do 9 times 8 times 7 times 3. Maybe it's not that bad, because you've got 9 times 8 is 72. 7 times the 3 that would cancel out is 21, so that's just doubling that. 1440 plus another 72. 1440, 1512. But you probably just press the buttons at that point. And again, the 2 marks were 1 for getting the value of r, and 1, if you like, for pressing the buttons.